Happy New Year. Happy January 2021. I'm Aurora Light, founder of Joy Evolution and co-founder of the Radiant Evolution Collective. I'm here to offer this energy interpretation for January 2021. And it feels really nice to say that. 2021 being welcomed with open arms by so many people who are excited to see 2020 gone. But honestly, I'm just going to speak into this because if you are going to resonate with my energy interpretation, you may resonate with my story of 2020. It was one of the best years of my life. It was this time that I actually had been preparing for my whole life, for lifetimes, if we're being honest with ourselves. And it was an opportunity to come into the embodiment of everything that I knew my mission and my soul frequency to be intellectually, to actually bring that into my being and then offer it out into the world. When the pandemic started, I was like, oh, this is what I've been preparing for. This is what I've been waiting for. And it was like this call went out, and many people that I work with and that I'm friends with felt the same way. Of this was our clarion call saying, all hearts on deck, lightworkers, mystics, starseeds, beings that know they are here to anchor in the higher frequencies and usher in and co-create a whole new world. We felt that call saying this was the time. We were in it now. It was no longer something we were waiting for. And so 2020 has brought with it so much destruction, but also so many gifts. And if you resonate with this description of 2020, you will resonate with what is to come in 2021. I am only speaking to people who are these anchors of light for this. So please take what you like, take what feels good and right in your body, and leave the rest behind. But the themes that I have been feeling into energetically for January 2021 include stillness, and then a spark. Then that turns into the start of a snowball. And the image I have is a snowball just rolling down a hill and gathering steam. So these are very similar, but I also came through with the contraction and then the word emergence. And there's also an echo effect that's happening in January. And it really feels like January is split into two parts for me. And the first half of January is about that stillness. We are still in this integration phase from all of the incredible energies that came through in the solstice. We're still in part of the solstice energies and the beautiful waves of energy that have been coming in through all the way from the middle of November, November 11th, that are going to be coming through all the way till mid-January, anywhere from the 12th to the 20th. So we are still being asked to go into stillness, to rest, to integrate without the guilt, without the, oh, I shoulda, I should clean my entire house at this beginning of the year to have a fresh start, and I need to get on my New Year's resolutions and do all the things. This is not going to serve you at this time. If you are one who has been bringing in huge energy over this last month or year, time for us to rest, time for us to be in stillness and integrate. And I personally, and many other beautiful luminous beings that I know, feel like we are at this point of standstill, which is also what happens at the solstice, right? We have a few days, and I think it echoes for a bit longer, where we literally come to a point of stillness. And in that, we get to practice being in our beingness. And that is what the last 2 years have been deeply about for me, is anchoring in the beingness. And then when we begin to move again, we are doing that from this renewed place where the doing flows from the being. And that's going to happen You're going to be in this restful, very still, very calm, very chill, very, I need a lot of sleep, perhaps a lot of extra rest, a lot more needing to veg out, watching TV or movies, right? Like, I mean, you're allowed to absorb and be. We're forgetting the judgments of TV bad, movies bad, right? You can pick high vibrational things to anchor in your soul and just be present. And then there will be a spark. There's going to be a spark of energy that's going to be lit in your heart again. And from that place, you're going to be not bursting into this giant flame. That's not what this energy is about, but it's that start of the snowball that I was talking about that is going to be picking up steam and gathering and gathering and gathering energy, gathering all of the opportunities, magnetizing that in, bringing it right in to stick to you, to bring you towards the middle of the year. Now, through this same time period, I had the coexisting themes of contraction and expansion. So again, first half of January is still a contraction, a coalescing. How I'm feeling and seeing that is it's coiling tightly, right? But it's coiling and integrating and coalescing. It's coming together. So this contraction is not necessarily one that needs to feel really heavy or bad. Sometimes we teach that like you want expansive energy, not contracting energy, but this is everything coalescing, coming together so that it can create that spark. And then it's going to spring open into this word that came through for me was emergence. And there's two definitions. I had to look it up because I'm like, I know what emergence means, but I really wanted to dive into what the syntax of this meant for the collective. So emergence is the process of coming into view or being exposed after being concealed. And this is working on multiple levels. Number one, it's for ourselves. We have been hiding so much of ourselves, especially Wayshowers, mystics, starseeds. You know who you are. You came here, but you had to hide your gifts. You had to hide your light in order to be safe, to fly under the radar, to make it to now. And so we're in the process of collectively healing the witch wound, all of this. It's not safe to be shiny and magical. We're in the process of stepping out. In the second half of January, you'll see more and more people emerging into, it doesn't have to be a spotlight, but into their beingness and shining their light. So some of you will be called to be in the spotlight, to be creating programs, to be speaking, to be writing, to be out there in the world. And some of you are going to have your normal operating procedure, but it's going to be from this place of luminous beingness where your essence is no longer going to need to be hidden the same way. So this also is happening at the collective level, right? There's going to be more and more in the light because there's so much cosmic light streaming in from the heavens, from source, from the divine, and from ourselves, right? From the suns that are illuminating the earth, and things in shadow can't hide when there's so much light coming in. So we're going to be seeing more of what Wayshower and Ascension Guide Sandra Walter would call revelation. And she's been calling this time from mid-December to mid-January the revelation wave. And so when the emergence word came through for me, and then I read the definition, I was like, oh, okay, more revelation, personal and global, political, collective. But there's also another definition of emergence, and that is coming into being, right? Just like as I was speaking of, we, through the stillness, are coming into our beingness, and then we get to emerge. I've had beautiful beings and soul journeys with me. Some of my clients go through back into a chrysalis. We went through big chrysalis phases last year, earlier in the year, and many of them had emerged, but it's like, okay, back in the cocoon, doing a little bit more, right? To emerge again as this greater version of ourselves, because My friends, it's not a one and done. We don't get to go in and then we're done. We're like, ta-da, here's my shiny wings, and there we are. We are in this continual process of evolution. And as we are doing that, we are shedding layers, shedding layers, shedding layers, and coming into more and more truth of who we really are. So breathe into that. This has been the whole process of 2020, is going through the collective shadow, dark night of the soul. So not everybody that's watching this went through their own. Perhaps you did that back in 2012 or in previous years. But the collective went through the dark night of the soul, right? Was thrown into it. And now many people are going to be starting to go through this emergence as well, emerging from the other side. And I'm not saying, everything's going to be over in January. A lot of people were excited, 2021, yay, no more pandemic. That's not exactly how it works on this linear time scale. But things are shifting, things are changing, and that's on the energetic first. Really big energy is coming, and it takes a bit of time for that to work its way into our bodies and into what we can see, right? The energy happens first. Those that are energetically sensitive can feel the shifts. And then guess what? You get to be the shifts. And then that ripples out into the world. Now, there is going to be something I was guided to speak into about an echo effect for January. Basically, you're going to have echoes of 2020, of like old stuff, of things coming up and through and into January. And do you have to pay attention to an echo? Right? It's just a rebound of the energy going out, bouncing against something hard and coming back to you. It doesn't mean you have to keep it. It doesn't mean it's yours. It doesn't mean you even have to do much besides acknowledge it, give it some love, and let it dissipate. So you don't have to go fully into anything that's bouncing up again. If you're like, I thought this was something I'd already worked through. Again, there's just going to be some echoes. You don't have to go and move through it. Honor it, love it, acknowledge it, and allow it to be dissipated with your focus, not going deeply onto it, right? Where our attention goes and intention, it grows. So I'm saying don't latch onto it. You don't need to. It's simply an echo. So some practical action tips for this January. The first half, what came through for me is, these are so basic. We're supposed to do these all the time. And I'm saying double down. Hydration. When you're hydrating, don't just drink water. Add in things like trace minerals, right? Here's concentrates. They're not paying me to do that. You can add sea salt. You can add lemon water. You can also add your intentions. If you have things like source seeds or other beautiful symbols, you can put them on your water bottles, right? Hydrate fully. Nourish yourself with that water. And meditation. Always an important thing, but the stillness, the coalescence, the contraction part of us need to be in extra meditation and communion with yourself, with your heart, with your body, with your divine team, with your highest self, beyond all illusion in space and time, with source, with your divinity. Meditation doesn't have to look like one thing, right? But be in presence. Then breathe. Breathe through this. Breathe deeply. If you're finding you're in the mind level too much and it's like scatter, 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 looking at everything, everyone, breathe to come back to presence, to your heart, to your embodiment. And then once we get into the second half of January, keep hydrating, keep meditating, keep breathing, but there's going to be that spark. And that's going to start to snowball. And so begin to do more of the action from the place of beingness. So move, create from your essence. We are creator beings here to have an embodied experience of life, of elevating our vibrational frequency out of density and into this unified field. And it's working, my loves. There were so many shifts and changes that happened in December. There was so much energy that was integrated onto the planet. So many new opportunities for us now. So thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. I am wishing you just so much love and manifest blessings for January and this whole new year. All of my love. Talk soon.